Welcome back. Thank you for watching the video on the Challenger explosion, for looking at that article about kind of the 8 symptoms of groupthink there. That's all going to be very helpful when you get to the discussion post. I kind of referenced it at the top of that video slide, so I hope that was helpful for you as you watch the video and that you took good notes. That will help you. I wanted to show you that I did make the correction there. I hate having typos, so as we were going through, I did make that fixed for us there on what is groupthink, and got that slide corrected. You can see here as well, these are brand new slides. I've updated the material here from previous times where this class was taught, and so this is hopefully the only typo you'll see through the course. I can't promise that, but we got knocked out. So to pick up where we left off, we were talking about the symptoms of groupthink. And within that Challenger video, I hope that you saw some of these realities, right? Where group members were rationalizing the resistance to assumptions they were going through and saying, oh, so-and-so doesn't know what they're talking about. We've done this before. We are NASA. We're the cream of the crop. We know what we're doing. And through that, they were pressuring doubters to support their decision. There were certain folks that kept silent over their misgivings, and that led to disastrous consequences. And then what you saw to kind of lead to the launch itself is that the group interpreted silence as a yes vote, and that led to disastrous consequences for the Challenger crew, for NASA as a whole, and they weren't exercising group decision making. They were falling into groupthink. So remember, when group decision making is operating at its best, you've got this diverse cacophony of good ideas and bad ideas, and you're all throwing them together, and you're using the collective power of the group to make the best decision. Where groupthink, when it came into play for this group at NASA, they made a decision not like they were a group, but like they were one ultra strong individual that nobody could oppose, that they were completely right, everyone else was wrong, and they almost bullied their way into making the decision they wanted to make regardless of the consequences. So there are groups where this can be more of a danger than others. So groups that are in the danger zone, ones where a clear group identity exists. They know who they are. NASA knew who they were. When we think about Pearl Harbor, the United States military knows who they are. When we think about the Bay of Pigs, Kennedy and his presidency and his cabinet knew who they were. There's a clear group identity that folks are able to rally around and to put stock in, and to really elevate the status in their own eyes and in the eyes of others. Related to status, the members of that group hold a positive image of their group that they want to protect. That positive image will oftentimes have been developed over time. NASA developed a positive image in the eyes of Americans over time, and so there was an expectation that NASA continues to have that positive image, that they are the best and they know what they're talking about and they know what they're doing. And so members felt pressure to protect the image that had been cultivated for so long. The group perceives a collective threat to this positive image. So it's not smooth sailing, but there are folks on the outside or inside that are saying, hey, y'all think that you're all that, but based on what I'm seeing, that's not the case. And the group members bristle and they buck against that idea, and they say, of course we know what we're talking about. Of course we have thought this through. And those type of groups can really have groupthink become much more of a reality. So ways to minimize groupthink from becoming a possibility in groups you're a part of or groups you're managing. Limit the group size to 10 or less. That kind of keeps everybody accountable and honest, and can be a setting where people are more likely to voice opposition if they feel that. Encourage group leaders to actively seek input from all members and avoid expressing their own opinions, especially in the early stages of deliberation. After the Bay of Pigs incident, Kennedy really demonstrated this concept where early in deliberation seasons, when they were making a decision, he would remove himself entirely from the room and let the group discuss without the pressure of trying to match their decisions to Kennedy's in order to appease him. He didn't want them to appease him. He wanted checks and balances and to have the value of group decision making at work after the Bay of Pigs incident. You can also appoint a devil's advocate in the group, somebody whose only job is to just poke holes and to identify shortcomings and identify red flags or blind spots, and to really value that person. Don't view them as somebody who is just being a Debbie Downer, but somebody who is providing the necessary checks and balances for the group to operate like it should. We also have group shift. Group shift is a reality when that's similar to groupthink. It has a similar outcome to groupthink, of really negative outcome there, but it has a different cause. So where groupthink is that a group kind of becomes so insular and isolated and proud that they make poor decisions. Group shift is where folks can become either so familiar with each other or too emotional, where the decisions really shift towards the extreme. So the decision of the group reflects the dominant decision making, so people that can be really dominant in the group, and it develops during the group's discussion, and it even exaggerates the initial position of the members. So everybody kind of can get carried away almost and become exaggerated in the decisions that they're making. And usually those decisions exaggerate to greater risk, not less risk. So in sports, right, you can have title celebrations, which is an opportunity for a group to come together and celebrate this championship that they've won, and it can devolve into destruction of property. Right? That was there to be celebratory, and the extreme individuals that are there at the title celebration can kind of pull everyone else along into destroying property in a way that nobody went there, or few people went there, hoping to celebrate the title, thinking that they were going to devolve into that, but that lure and pull into extremity can happen. At work, if you are in a group with a charismatic personality who has really extreme or strong ideas, that person can pull a work group towards themselves just by their personality. At home, if you have someone who's a constant complainer, that person can really affect your home life, where other people start to complain, and it becomes just kind of a culture of complaining at home, right? That shift can happen in a way that no one intends to have happen, but it naturally does. At church, often the people with the most extreme views are also the people with the loudest voices, and so those loud voices can pull others into their camp, their more extreme camp, because of that. So those are some realities with group shift, where the decision making of the group devolves a little bit into the more extreme views of the group members. So when we talk about group decision-making techniques, we want to think about ways to really highlight positive group decision-making and minimize some of those negatives with group shift and group think. So brainstorming is one way to do that, where any and all alternatives, while withholding any criticism of the alternatives, right? Any idea is good, no bad idea, no need to hold anything back. So that's a way to really generate a lot of ideas that you can then evaluate which way is the best way to go. as a group. There's also this thing called nominal group technique, which restricts discussion during the process to encourage independent thinking. So you want to encourage everyone to think independently and then to evaluate those independent thoughts and see how you can move forward well. So that process kind of looks like a problem's presented. Each individual takes time by themselves to write down an idea. Then they'll individually present that idea to the group. Once all the ideas are presented, there can be some discussion amongst the group. Then the individuals will rank the ideas of how they see the best way forward. And then the group can come together and make a solid decision, either taking the best idea or combining a few of the ideas to do something really strong. The problem with this is that it can be time-consuming, more time-consuming than people want to spend time doing. But the results of nominal group technique are extremely strong, and even stronger than brainstorming, as it allows everybody, even the more shy individuals, to share ideas with the group that can often be very strong. If there's a group that you're just struggling to actually get honest input, there can be electronic meetings where you can use technology, computers, to provide surveys that come through anonymously and really get input for ideas and decisions that you're weighing in a way that people can feel safe to express their actual idea. Within electronic aspects of group decision making, there can be a decreased cohesiveness, there can be a decreased group community in using this technique, and so be careful to find other ways to foster that. If you do have a lot of electronic meetings happening, ways to make sure the group is functioning very high there. So that finishes our foundation level work on groups. Remember, this is what we're going to build upon when we talk about teams. So a lot of these things like norms and cohesiveness and size and status and groupthink, these are going to be factors that we talk about in the team setting where there's some where teams make up a more particular subset of groups in the life of work and in life in general. So I'm excited to get into those discussions in the coming weeks. For now, there are a couple of discussion posts that we'll go through and work on, and I hope that you all make it a great rest of your week, and I'll look forward to being back together again next week. Bye.